Hello everyone, welcome to Wi-Fi Learn. In this video, we can see some problems regarding mesh current analysis. So, we have seen in last videos, in mesh current analysis, there are 4 steps to be followed in mesh current analysis. First step is identify the meshes and label the mesh currents in either clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. And the second step is observe the amount of current that flows in each element in terms of mesh current. We have to find the mesh current first and we have to find out the amount of current that flows in each element. And the third step is write the mesh equation to all the meshes using KVL and Ohm's law. Solve the mesh equation to get the currents. These are the 4 steps to be followed in the mesh current analysis. Okay, let's move on to this problem. See, in this problem, obtain the branch current using the mesh current method. The first step is identify the number of meshes. There are 2 meshes and we have to show whether the current is in clockwise or anti-clockwise. Here I have mentioned the current is in clockwise direction. 2 meshes and now we have to obtain the mesh currents in each meshes. So, in first mesh, apply the KVL. If we apply KVL, the current will enter in the negative terminal and leaves the positive terminal, which is in the same direction of conventional current direction. So, this acts as an energy source or potential rise. So, represent that as a positive value, or we can also write the KVL equation as sum of the voltage rise is equal to sum of the voltage drop. So, I will represent the voltage rise in left hand side and voltage drop in right hand side. So, this is a voltage rise. So, voltage rise is 20, positive value, which is equal to voltage drop in right hand side value. Voltage drop, the current will enter the resistance, all the passive element will produce a potential fall, positive and negative. This I1 current will produce a potential fall across 10 ohms as positive and negative. So, if I1 current flows through 5 amps, so I1 into 5 according to Ohm's law plus 10 into I1, and this 10 ohms is a common to both the meshes. So, the current flowing through 10 ohms can be addition of both the currents or subtraction of both the currents if polarities are same or opposite. See, this I2 current enters the negative terminal and leaves the positive terminal, right? So, enters the negative terminal and leaves the positive terminal, which is same as that conventional current direction, and it is a potential rise, but we are writing potential fall. So, minus 10 into I2. Got it? According to I1 it is potential fall, according to I2 it is a potential rise. So, minus 10 into I2. So, if we take a common value, 20 is equal to 15 I1 minus 10 I2. 20 is equal to 15 I1 minus 10 I2. This is the equation 1. So, in mesh 2, we will get the equation of the current is flowing in clockwise direction. It is a positive, negative. Here, the potential has been dropped here. Here, the potential has been dropped here. So, it is not an energy source. It is acting like a load here. So, energy source is minus 8, which is equal to the current enters a positive terminal and leaves a negative terminal as per I2. So, 10 into I2, and it enters a positive terminal and leaves a negative terminal. So, plus 2 into I2. So, this 10 ohms is a common to both the meshes. Due to the current I1, it produces a potential rise. So, minus 10 into I1. This current I1 enters the negative and leaves the positive terminal as in the case of I2 and I1. Okay. Now, this equation can be rewritten as 12 I2 minus 10 I1 is equal to minus 8. Second equation. So, this equation can be further reduced as 3 I1 minus 2 I2 is equal to 4. This equation can also be further reduced as 6 I2 minus 5 I1 is equal to minus 4. If you solve both the equation by normal algebraic calculations, your I1 and I2 value would be I1 is equal to 2, I2 is equal to 1. Normal calculations, right? normal algebraic calculation, cancel any one value and you will get I1 or I1 value. If you cancel out I2 value, you will get the value of I1, and substitute the value of I1 in any equation, you will get the value of I2. So the value of I2 is equal to 1, I1 is equal to 2 amps, I2 is equal to 1 ampere. Got it? Once you find the equation, you can solve this equation by normal algebraic method. Now let's move on to the topic of matrices and determinants. If mesh current has to be found in 3 meshes, if a circuit has 3 meshes, or when KVL is applied in 3 meshes of a network, the following 3 equations can be obtained. The following 3 equations for these 3 meshes can be written as: for mesh 1, here there are 3 meshes. For mesh 1, the I1 current flows through RA and RB. So KVL can be written as: the current flows through RA and RB. So RA plus RB of I1, right? I1 current flows through RA as well as RB. But I2 current flows only in RB, which is in the opposite direction of the potential drop, right? So minus of I2 into RB, which will be equal to the energy source. Here the current enters the negative terminal and leaves the positive terminal, which will be equal to VA. This is the first mesh equation. First mesh equation. I'll say again that the I1 current enters RA and also it flows through RB also, which produces a potential drop RA plus RB into I1. Positive terminal leaves the negative terminal. But due to the current I2, this RB is common to both the meshes. This I2 enters the negative and leaves the positive terminal, which is opposite to potential drop. So it is potential rise. So minus of I2 is equal to RB, which is equal to VA, energy source. Here the current enters the negative and leaves the positive. So VA is positive. It is potential rise in this side and potential drop in this side. For mesh 2, the KVL equation. These are the KVL equations. I2 will flows through all the resistance. So I2 causes all the resistance a potential drop only. Due to I2, all the resistance RB, RC and RD produces potential drop. So summation of RB plus RC plus RD produces a drop. But whereas in the case of common resistance, first take this RD resistance. RD is common to I2 and I3, that is both the meshes. But this I3 produces a potential rise. It enters the negative and leaves the positive. So minus of I3 into RD. Similarly, consider this mesh. This I2 enters the positive and leaves the negative. But whereas in the case of I1, it enters the negative and leaves the positive, which is opposite of voltage drop. So we'll write minus of I1 into RB, which is equal to 0. There is no energy source present in this mesh, so energy source is equal to 0. Mesh 3. This is mesh 2 and this is mesh 3. Here mesh 3, the current flows in this direction. This I3 flows in RE and RD, produces a potential drop, enters positive and leaves negative, enters positive and leaves negative. So I3 into RD plus RE, but this is a common resistor. So when a current I2 enters negative, where the current I2 enters negative and leaves positive, opposite to that of the normal drop. So minus of I2 into RD, which is equal to, here the current enters the positive and leaves the negative, which is opposite to that of the conventional current direction. So this energy source is not an energy source here, it is acting like a sink here. So minus of VB. So these are the 3 KVL equations for these 3 meshes which we can write. By using this KVL equation, we can write the matrices or determinant value. I'll write a matrices equation of 3 cross 3 according to Ohm's law. First mesh is I1 current, second mesh is I2 and third mesh is I3. This I1 current for first mesh, so RA plus RB. This I2 current for the second mesh minus RB. Third current I3 is not flowing in the first mesh, right? And there is no resistance common to first mesh and third meshes also. So the resistance of first and third mesh is 0. This is a resistance for first mesh, and this is a common resistance for first and second mesh, and there is no common resistance for first and last mesh, so it is 0. And in second equation, we can also write the common resistance for second and first mesh is RB minus RB, and the self resistance of the second mesh is RB plus RC plus RD, and the common resistance for second and the third mesh is RD. So minus RD. We can write by using equations also. And the last equation is there is no common resistance for first and the third mesh, so it is 0. Common resistance for second and the third mesh is minus RD, and the self resistance of the third mesh is RE and RD. So RE plus RD from this equation, which is equal to energy source of first mesh is VA, there is no energy source for second mesh, and the last mesh has an energy source of minus VB. Okay, this is the determinate form of the three meshes that present in the circuit. Generally, we can write the 3 cross 3 matrix or form of Ohm's law by R11, R12, R13, R21, R22, R23, R31, R32, R33, I1, I2, I3, with the current flowing through 3 meshes, which is equal to V1, V21, V3, voltage supplied for the 3 meshes, where R1, R2, R3 are sum of all the resistance through I1, I2 and I3, right? R1, R2, R3, R11, R22, R33 are the sum of all the resistance that flowed through I1, I2 and I3. Or we can also say R11, R22, R33 are the self resistance of each mesh is present in the circuit. R12 is sum of the resistance which is common to mesh 1 and mesh 2. Common resistance to mesh 1 and mesh 2 according to the subscript. This R12 can be either positive or negative depending upon the current flowing through the circuit. If both I1 and I2 are same polarity, then R12 is positive. If I1 and I2 are in opposite direction, then R12 is negative. So it is positive if I1 and I2 are same direction, flowed in same direction. It is negative if I1 and I2 are opposite direction. Similarly, R13, R21, R23, R31 all are sum of the resistance common to both the meshes according to the subscripts indicated. They are positive if the current in the subscript according to the subscript are same direction, and negative if the current in the subscript according to the subscripts are in opposite direction. R13, R21, R23, R31 are same as that of R12. Common resistance for both the meshes according to the subscript, and the value of these resistance are positive if current according to the subscript are in same direction, or negative if current according to the subscript are in opposite direction. Really, it can be represented as Rij is equal to Rji. Rij is equal to Rji. So, resistance matrix is a symmetric matrix above the principal diagonal. Resistance matrix is a symmetric matrix above the principal diagonal. Element V is a voltage matrix, a sum of all the voltages in the meshes. In first mesh, V1 is a voltage, in second mesh, V2 is a voltage, and third mesh, V3 is a voltage. Each V1, V2, V3 are the sum of the voltages that present in each meshes. First mesh, second mesh, and third meshes. Matrix is formed according to the Ohm's law and KVL applied in the circuit. This voltage is counted as positive. Voltage is positive if source drives the mesh currents. Voltage is negative if that voltage is not driving the mesh current. If the voltage that present in the mesh drives the mesh current, then the voltage is positive. If the voltage that present in the mesh does not drive the mesh current, then the voltage is negative. Right? So, in this example, VA is driving the mesh current. It is same as the direction of the mesh current. Right? The current leaves the positive terminal and enters the negative terminal, same as the mesh current. So, this is driving the current. The source is driving the mesh current. So, this is positive. Whereas in last mesh, here the current enters the positive and leaves the negative, opposite to that of the conventional current direction. Right? So, it is not driving this current. This current is entering positive and leaving the negative. Here it is acting like a load here. Here it is acting like a load here. So, here the voltage source is negative. Okay. The matrix equation can be solved by using the Cramer's rule. This matrix equation can be solved by using the Cramer's rule, which we are aware in matrices and determinants topic. Matrix equation can be solved by Cramer's rule. I1 current can be found by del 1 divided by del. Your del value is normal symmetric resistance matrix. Symmetrical resistance. Symmetrical resistance is this matrix. This is the value of del here. Where del 1 is, replace the first column with the voltages of V1 value, V2 and V3 values. So, your del 1 can be given by V1, V2, V3 and the remaining columns retain as it is. If you find the determinant value of this, you will get the value of del 1. Then the I1 current can be found by del 1 divided by del. Similarly, I2 can also be found by del 2 divided by del and I3 can also be found by del 3 divided by del. Your del 2 is the determinant value of removing the symmetrical resistance matrix of middle column and replace it with voltage column. You will get the determinant as R11, R21, R31, V1, V2, V3, R13, R23 and R33. This is the del 2 value. This is the del 2 value. Similarly, del 3 can be written by R11, R21, R31, R12, R22, R32, V1, V2, V3. Remove the last column from the symmetrical resistance matrix and attach the voltage value which is present in the right hand side in the last column. You will get the value of del 3. And substitute the value of del 3 here and del 2 here, you will get the value of I1, I2 and I3. Very simple. By using the Cramer's rule, we can solve the mesh current analysis or mesh current equations. I hope you understood the concepts of mesh current by using matrix as well as determinant. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe to Wi-Fi Learn. Thanks for watching the video.